Hello, my dear friends. My name is Harold, and welcome to the Sanctum, your gateway into learning and understanding the ancient wisdom of the East and the West. If you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe and give this video a like. It will help this channel grow. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can begin to see with your eyes closed. So, what I mean by this is it really possible to enhance your visualization, to improve your visualization and your imaginative capabilities to such a level that when you close your eyes, you can literally see something so clearly as if it's real in front of you? A bit like a dream. When you're dreaming, you can see that everything seems so real. You can touch things, you can feel things, you can see things clearly. And you think that's real, but then you wake up and you realize it's not. In the same way, is it possible to close your eyes and imagine that you're in a garden and you actually experience being like there in that particular garden, rather than simply visualizing it in some faded, distant way or dissociated manner, but more of a very associated here happening right now manner? And the answer is yes, you can. In fact, yogis for thousands of years and ancient traditions had all sorts of practices to begin developing their visual capability and be able to fully embody that mental realm where you experience thoughts and you're able to create images in your mind. So in yoga, there's a particular word for this, when you're able to let go of the physical body and the physical experience through the five senses, and you're able to fully be absorbed and interact with that mental imaginative focus that you're trying to create in your mind. And they call that pratyahara. Pratyahara is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, and it means sensory withdrawal. Right? So drawing in your senses and going inside. So they call that pratyahara. Now, pratyahara can take place when you're able to concentrate on something for a long period of time with pure focus, laser sharp focus. So pratyahara can happen in many ways. It can happen with an external object, and it can happen with an internal object, meaning something that you imagine within yourself, in your mind, or internally within yourself, like a feeling or a particular sensation in the body, something like that. So we're going to be focusing on internal pratyahara while beginning to create a particular image in our mind. And this is how we will begin to develop our visualization to the point in which we'll be able to see with our eyes closed. Now, if you're an artist, you can really see how valuable this practice can be. Now, in some of the higher stages of yoga, especially in Tibetan yoga, the initiated monk would be trained to eventually start visualizing things of this complexity, like this mandala over here. And when they could do something like this so clearly in their mind that they could actually see it in every single detail, they would even imagine going into it and being in this mandala palace in 3D, as if they were actually entering and interacting with certain deities and forces that are there in that mandala. So that's the level that Tibetan monks and yogis take this particular practice. But it all starts from level 0, and this is where it is. So I talk about this in more depth on my Patreon channel. You can find that in the description box below or on the screen in front of you here. And I talk about that in my Fundamentals of Esoteric Development course, where a little bit more about visualization and all of that. So this is kind of the basic practice. So you start by just sitting comfortably, either in the pharaonic or heretic posture, or simply in a cross-legged posture, and you close your eyes, allow your mind to go blank, and simply imagine a circle. Just for now, let's just start with a white circle. This is level 0. Just imagine a white circle. in the darkness of your mind, in the blackness of your mind. And you would focus on this white circle. Just keep your attention there. And suddenly you may notice that you've lost your attention and you're focused and you're thinking about something else. As soon as you start thinking about something else, come back to the white circle. And just keep doing it. Every time you get distracted, come back to the white circle. And suddenly you might think about lunch or something. Keep coming back to the white circle. Keep coming back onto it until you can focus onto it. Start with just 5 minutes. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit there and keep focusing on that white circle. Eventually, if you keep doing this, the white circle will begin to formulate. It'll start with a little bit of a misty kind of emergence in the blackness of your mind, and then it will start to solidify. This is over practice, and so you might have to practice for a very long time, for months, sometimes years, depending on the person, depending on your own karma, and also depending on your own predisposition. Eventually it will begin to form, and you will see a white circle very clearly there. Once you're able to do that, you can begin to transform that and use more complicated shapes, like maybe a triangle or a hexagon, or maybe even a 3D shape like a rose. And then eventually from there you can go into something that's moving, like a blossoming rose that's blossoming and then wilting away and crumbling and dying. Like that, you can go into more complex forms of imagery, right? But it all starts with that white circle. Imagine the white circle, and as soon as you have lost focus, keep coming back to it, and just keep doing this until it happens. This is going to take a lot of work, and this is where, if somebody really wants to develop themselves in the esoteric path, they need to dedicate a lot of time to practice. It's like if you want to learn to shred on your guitar, if you're a guitarist, you need to play a lot of guitar. You need to play a lot of guitar every single day, and in some months you'll be able to shred like Van Halen. It's the same thing with drums. It's the same thing with cooking. If you want to really understand flavors, you got to try a lot of different food. You got to learn to experiment and work with food. In the same way, if it's related to art, you need to be able to draw and keep your hands still and do various outlines over and over and over and over again, and practice over and over and over again. It's the same thing when it comes to spiritual development, as well as learning to focus and control the mind. Okay, so practice makes perfect, but I assure you it's worth it. So I hope all of this makes sense. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you, take care, and peace.